Well, it's officially been over a month since Doom: The Dark Ages was released, and after putting about 20 hours into the game and finishing it, I think I'm about ready to give my thoughts on it. Hello everyone, my name's Argonaut, and if you like what you see here, feel free to click that subscribe button to keep up with me. And, with that shameless bit of self-promotion out of the way, on with the video. For this video, we're going to try to keep things as spoiler-free as possible, and these are more or less just purely my thoughts on how I felt with the game. Initially, my girlfriend got me this game as an early anniversary gift. She bought it for me a bit early because she knew I was going to go out of my way to pay full price for this one, although I don't typically do that for any games anymore nowadays. But upon starting it up, I was pretty excited for it, coming down off of a high from finishing Doom Eternal and its DLCs only a couple months prior. Both Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal were a couple of games I picked up on sale for about $10 to $15, and just kind of forgot about them, leaving them to be doomed to rot in my game backlog for months. But after I finally got around to playing Doom 2016, I simply fell in love with it, and even more so when I played Eternal right after, leaving me more than hyped for the 2-month wait I had for the Dark Ages. After I got my hands on it, I was excited to once again hop into the shoes of the Slayer and run around killing enemies in this world's version of the medieval times. The first cutscene you get upon starting up the game does a really good job, just hyping you up for the rest of the game. And admittedly, it is pretty fun to run around the huge map, mowing down the enemies in your sight. The new shield mechanic is pretty fun at first, and becomes an easy way to stun enemies, kill weaker enemies, or shoot across the field to faraway enemies. You almost feel like a deadly Captain America. But that's the good news about that new mechanic, and now here's where it kind of loses me a little bit. The bad news is, it feels like you lose a whole bunch of mobility that you had in Eternal in favor of the shield mechanic, and I feel like the shield sometimes makes things a bit too easy. Granted, when I played through the game, I had it set for normal difficulty, since I'm a casual player, but the shield blocks practically every attack and can parry every other enemy attack along with counter moves for a successful parry. I mean, sure, the shield can break, but as long as you're not a complete idiot with it and keep using it to block every attack that comes your way, that'll rarely happen. And even as a casual player, I thought that this made the gameplay a little bit stale. The whole game in general feels like it just has a slower pace than Doom Eternal. But then again, the whole thing with this game is that this is by design. The devs don't want you shooting around the field as you duck and dodge and fight huge hordes of enemies. You're supposed to stand and fight. The game also does away with glory kills as we know it, instead replaced with glory strikes. If you melee a dazed enemy instead of the usual brutal animations that we're used to, the Slayer will basically just take them out with a basic punch or kick now. If you're lucky and jump before hitting the melee button, the Slayer will use his shield saw to decapitate an enemy, which is about as close as we're going to get to the old glory kills animation in this game. And from what I've witnessed, id Software apparently chose this route to not break the immersion of combat, and also because seeing the long animations could become repetitive to the player, and also annoying after a while. Although personally, I never had any issues with the old glory kill system like that, but it's a change that I came to be okay with. Also in this game, the devs removed the multiplayer experience for the Dark Ages so they could focus on bringing the best single-player experience that they could to the player. I pretty much didn't even touch the multiplayer in 2016 or Eternal like that, so for me personally, this didn't affect me at all. But I don't think I've ever heard of anyone ever really playing the multiplayer in Doom games like that. Let me know in the comments, did you play the multiplayer in any of the older Doom games like that? And if so, how was it? New to this game are also sections where you get to fly on a dragon, and sections where you get to pilot a giant mech and fight these skyscraper-sized demons. Now, for these sections, I'm not sure what I expected or wanted from this, but it typically just breaks down to shoot or punch until the enemy attacks, dodge, get your attacks empowered by dodging, then wiping out the enemy. I'm not exactly sure what could have been done to make this better, but at least with the dragon, I'll say I had fun fighting some of the demons and seeing the kill animations. Throughout the game, you also get way more cutscenes than you did for Doom 2016 and Eternal. I don't know if every fan of Doom prefers the type of storytelling that they chose to do here, but wanting to see the next cutscene at the beginning of every chapter was personally one of my incentives to keep moving forward with the game. And on that note, the Dark Ages is broken up into chapters, which I don't have too much of a problem with on paper, but the way the game implements them is so immersion breaking. In Doom Eternal, whenever you finished a chapter or level, you would get sent back to your ship, which would serve as a hub world. And while you're there, you could unlock new sections of the ship, power up your weapons, test out your weapons, and gear up for your next mission. It basically makes for a good stopping point without breaking immersion. But in the Dark Ages, after you finish a chapter, you see a results screen seeing how many collectibles you found throughout the chapter, and then you get taken to a chapter select screen, which to me fully breaks immersion and usually had me tend to put the game down after one chapter. And I don't know if this was just me, and I also don't know if this was by bug or design, but half of the times, when I clicked to go to the next chapter after finishing a mission, I would instead get sent back to the main menu screen, which would definitely have me put the game down. All in all, I can't say I was a huge fan of the Dark Ages, and I'm sure you've probably heard people that actually go into in-depth reviews about this game say something similar. While it definitely isn't a bad game, it felt like a lot of things were removed since Eternal, and I feel like I had to practically force myself to play through this one to get to the ending. If you haven't played Eternal and this is your first Doom game, you probably feel better about this than I did. Or, if you're a hardcore Doom player that plans on replaying Dark Ages, it offers a lot in the way of customizability, with the difficulty, enemy aggression, ammo drops, and other options to get the game to more or less perfectly suit your playstyle. For me personally, as cool as I find it that they give you the option to do this, as a filthy casual player, I'm just gonna go with their preset difficulty options. It shouldn't be my job to tailor this game, it should be yours, and my job is to deal with it and pick one of the difficulties that suits me best. If anything, I can see this type of system benefiting a game more like Elden Ring or any FromSoft titles to allow casuals to play. Although, on the flip side, those games were always intended to have that old school kind of difficulty to them to begin with, and those customization options would kind of defeat that purpose. But again, at the end of the day, id Software was going for a completely different gameplay style for this game anyway, so it wasn't meant to feel like a better version of Eternal to begin with. And I hate to be one of those people that just say, "Durr, Eternal better." But as this is a part of the Doom franchise, you can't help but compare it with Eternal, and I can't just help but feel that most people would probably feel better about this game if it came out after Doom 2016 and before Eternal. But again, that's just my view. So, what did you think about my thoughts on the Dark Ages? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? Let me know your own thoughts about the Dark Ages in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, see you next time, and thanks for watching.